Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to a standard edition of Weekly Allowance. No old footage, no art book review, this is a good old-fashioned action figure review. Speaking of old footage, so a couple of reviews ago I found old footage from when we got the MonsterArts Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla figure for very cheap at Target. In a similar vein, we have had this figure sitting around for quite a while, and I'm just now getting around to opening it. When I take a while to open things, it's not really negligence or forgetting about them or not wanting to open them. It's just that I try to stay on top of new releases, and sometimes the new releases come out very quickly, and things like this get left to the wayside. But here we are, finally looking at it. So it's got similar packaging to the Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla figure. The same kind of color scheme. Shiny decal to prove it's not a knockoff, though I feel like anyone could make those shiny decals. I believe everything we're seeing is an image of the actual product. Since this is Mechagodzilla, he should translate pretty well to action figure form. You know, it's easy to tell where the cuts are in Godzilla and Kong. They're organic creatures, but here, I mean, it would be a natural cut because he's a robot. Like I said in my Godzilla review, I didn't really care for Godzilla vs. Kong. I really liked King of the Monsters, but I like Mechagodzilla. He's a robot animal, which I love, and he's got Ghidorah's brain inside him. I also love Ghidorah. More Ghidorah, please. I think he was killed off too soon. He should have been a recurring villain. Is that crazy of me to say? Maybe. There are a lot of other monsters for Godzilla to fight, but man, Ghidorah just hit different. All right, let's get him out of this clamshell gently. Come here, buddy. All right, now I believe that parts of this are made of die-cast metal. So far, I'm not seeing evidence of that, but there's gotta be some in here. Oh, there it is. I think these spines are die-cast. I was honestly expecting him to be a little more metally. Out of the package, he comes across as a little bit muted gray, not really that metallic in some areas. So this is a fairly expensive figure, so let's be gentle with it, shall we? From what I understand, they're releasing a new one of these. I saw it for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know if it's a different finish. It looked a little darker to me, but maybe that's wrong. But the one on pre-order is a deluxe edition. It's got like energy effects and extra weapons, I think, and extra tail pieces. So if you're in the market for a Mechagodzilla, maybe go check that out. This guy's proportions are so awkward. Just look at the way he has to hold his arms, like he's an angry grade schooler storming off the playground. It would be too obvious for me to say that this is not an organic creature, and so I'm finding it a little bit difficult to find things to talk about sculpt-wise. Obviously, the sculpt is great. It looks accurate to the movie as far as I can remember, but I'm much more at home talking about more organic sculpting. You guys know I love robots. I love robot animals, but the planes of the robots, they elude me. All the little gears and pistons and things like that. It's very impressive stuff, but I don't quite know how to discuss it. I will say that this design is a bit awkward, once again going back to the way the arms are positioned, and that's not a posing thing, that's just how they're in there. And I know that the movie is to blame for that, but I think there have been better Mechagodzilla designs in the Godzilla universe for sure. He's chock full of detail. I'm going to be very gentle because, like I said, he's expensive and easily breakable. I don't know. Bright red eyes. They're really kind of inset in there, so they're a little bit hard to see, and they're tiny, but the red is striking against that gray silver. His tongue is like a shredder, and I guess given this thing's size, it would be a giant shredder. Much like the other MonsterArts figures, he is very spiky. Not quite as spiky, though. The spikes are flattened a little bit, so he shouldn't hurt you. Very satisfying to hold. Most of the weight is in his body. It leaves a little bit of disparity weight-wise when it comes to posing, because visually I feel like his tail would carry a lot of weight. But it's fairly light in comparison, I guess because it is made more of plastic than metal. So he does want to kind of tip forward if you put him at a certain angle. But so far I do really like how fluid the tail is. Very easy to manipulate. It doesn't get stuck. It's bouncing back into place a little bit, but not too much. It's like one of those wooden snake toys you buy at fairs or whatever. Just nicely articulated. Much nicer articulation than Godzilla's tail, that's for sure. But like I touched on earlier, this is an inorganic creature that's going to naturally, or unnaturally in this case, have a lot of segments for articulation. I am interested to see what the articulation is like. So far, it's been better than the Godzilla. Ooh, look at that neck. That's pretty good. Might I actually like the articulation on this one? Because on the Godzilla, it wasn't great. Someone in the comments recommended using silicone oil for SH MonsterArts because the joints really get stuck and they're kind of creaky and difficult to move. Godzilla in particular has a lot of cuts that I'm not sure even do anything. That might not be needed on this one, and I would try it on Godzilla, but we don't have any at the moment, so I'll probably try it sometime in the future. But as of now, we are oilless. Let's see, it looks like there's some like ancillary articulation, some pieces that don't really necessarily do anything, like these shoulder pads are on a hinge. And I don't think there's much of a reason for that. There's some good shoulder movement though, or as weird as his arm placement is. His elbow was kind of sticking earlier. Ooh, I don't want to move it. Let's see if this one is a little bit better. Oh yeah, that's pretty tight, but it does move. It goes up and down, and there's also a really nice swivel, and a swivel on the claw hand. So the claw I do not like, just from a design standpoint. I understand that it's like a grappling hook type thing or whatever, or like an excavator thing, but I just don't like that it's more like that and not an actual creature claw. That's a nitpick. That really doesn't have anything to do with the figure. That's a movie design thing. Oh no, I tried to see if it would clamp down, and I just tore this piece off. Does that mean it won't clamp down? Yeah, I thought the hand was articulated. I thought it would be able to grasp, and that's why it was positioned in that way, but I guess not. I guess that's why we get extra hands as the accessories, hands that are already clamped. Because yeah, these neither of these sets of hands articulate in any way, except for the wrists. That's a little bit of a bummer. I think it would have been way cooler if they could flex a little bit. I'm not expecting this guy to have any torso articulation. I mean, that's a big metal chunk. I don't think it's going to do anything. So leg arcs out a little bit. That's about as far as you're going to get it back. Ooh, yep, that's about as far as you're going to get it back. But I mean, it's Mechagodzilla. He's not really known for his feats of acrobatics. Does have a little bit of a twist. Knee, nice piston action there. And ooh, very nice movement on the foot. I love that this piece moves as well. Clamp that back down. I don't think the foot has any twist, though it does have a bit of a rock. And of course that tail can do all sorts of stuff. The tail's by far my favorite part, though the head and neck articulation is really nice too. Wonder if this thing does anything. This little weapon on the back. Can it move? I don't think so. Yeah, the new release apparently comes with a tail attachment for like a tail drill or something. I don't know. So he does have some hidden weaponry, and to display it, I'm going to have to bring out some weaponry of my own because I tried to pry these open with my fingernails, and my fingernails are very weak and brittle, and they always have been. This, however, is strong. Strong and virile. So he's got these shoulder rockets on each shoulder. And that's pretty much all they can do. Just flip up, and you've got a place where ostensibly rockets could shoot out of. Would be real nice to have an effect going from there, but we don't. And then we get belly rockets, which is my favorite kind of rocket. Trying to be pretty gentle and not scratch the paint or anything. But yeah, these are pretty difficult to move. Ow. I just hurt myself trying. So yeah, there we go. There's flip down. And I think it's just these three. I think that's about it as far as hidden weaponry goes. And yeah, it's kind of a cool little hidden inclusion, but I do wish there was a little bit more to it. Like I said, it would be really nice to have an effect of missiles shooting out. You could work that in somehow, include some pegs for it to slot into, or just have these missile silos be more detailed, like have them painted a little bit darker, black in there, or even red, because as it is, it just looks like just an additional machinery not actually something that would house weapons. But anyway. But yeah, I missed those at first because I thought there was something in the shoulders and the chest, but like I said, my nails are so weak that I could not pry them open. So I was like, well, maybe there's nothing in there after all. If anyone knows of a good nail treatment, just drop me a comment because, I need it. Before long, I'll devolve to the point where I have no nails at all, and no one wants to see that. So yeah, not much to write home about in the articulation department, but what is there is solid, with some notable standouts in the tail and the head and neck region, even though there's not much to the head and neck region. Everything else is a little bit wooden, but I mean, it's a huge chunk of metal. I do wish that he could look up a little bit more. For as good as the head and neck articulation is, you know, comparatively for an SH MonsterArts figure, he's really missing a looking up movement, I think. Kind of a roaring movement. Mechagodzilla still roars, doesn't he? Also, much like the Godzilla, he is sorely missing an energy effect, or just something to signify that he's attacking or about to attack. I imagine that's why they came out with another version, but I'm surely not going to get it just for an extra energy beam or whatever. They should have included an energy attack to begin with, and that goes for Godzilla as well. But they didn't. So speaking of Godzilla, here they are. He's got a little bit of mud on him from our last photo shoot, so sorry about that, but here they are together. Yeah, if I recall, in the movie, Mechagodzilla was a bit bigger than vanilla Godzilla, organic Godzilla. So this scale makes sense to me. What if they just are friends? So for both of these, not much in the articulation department, but they do look sick next to each other. That is for sure. I'm not planning on getting Kong because, to be honest, the less apes in this household, the better. I'm historically not a fan of apes or monkeys. Don't really like Kong as a character. I was rooting for Godzilla the entire time. But yeah, that's about it for this one. A bit of a short review, but there's not too much that can be said about this Mechagodzilla. Pretty limited articulation, doesn't come with anything except for those hands that I think should have been articulation in the first place. I'm not unhappy with it. I just think it should have come with more. And now they're releasing one with more. I haven't checked to see if they're releasing a Godzilla with extra stuff, but maybe. Either way, I'm not going to get them because I have these already. And the more I think about it, the more it bothers me that they couldn't just throw in like a single energy effect in each of these boxes. It would have just elevated the figure, would have added some value, some sorely needed value, because these are expensive. The more I talk, the more it sounds like I'm upset with this, but I'm really not. It is a beautiful recreation, even if the movie Mechagodzilla is a little bit, it has the air of doofiness about it. There's some doof involved, mainly just because of these arms. There has to be a better way. If I ever build a giant robot dinosaur, the arms are going to be different. So thank you all very much for watching. Likes and subscribes are very much appreciated. Comments are more than welcome. I will see you guys on the next one.